Okay. Okay. Well, that is true. Yeah. So I guess I was ignoring that part of the deck. The deck building challenge is that we have to have at least 25 troops in the deck. Huh. That that actually changes things conceptually. So I think that with that being the focus, then maybe I need to shift back to almost mono wild. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree, Coach. Yeah. So with that being said, the focus shift probably needs to go back to wild, and it probably needs to include more beasts like the feral root jaguar. I kind of like the inclusion of jags. We'll see if we have a better chest equipment, but 2 jags could be really solid in this deck with the chest equipment for triple damage. Because I think that there's going to be quite a few troops in here that are going to be more than 3 cost. We'll see. And maybe we can cut Crimson Clary. I'll leave it in for now. But yeah, we're gonna have to go a little heavier on the troops just to make sure we hit that requirement. So for now, let's take out the burn gloves. We may end up removing a lot of this strategy here. Let's take out the cracking bolts. We'll leave in the crushing blow for now. We'll leave in the combat training for now, and maybe we'll leave in all of this draw tech. So what does that look like for troops? That gives us 10, 22 troops. So Coach, I can't talk about it too much, but the next champion or Merc spoiler article that I wrote will have some of that interaction in it. Unfortunately, the deck that I'm alluding to, that's going to come out for the next Merc Spotlight, is only able to play 2 of the Beast Colors, because Beast Color is not a beast; it is a Coyote. But yeah, this particular Mercenary actually would work very well for that deck that I built. Yeah, it is expensive too, so there's that. Now, speaking of price, I'm probably going way off the rails here with the price of this deck. So maybe we go away from the draw strategy and see what it looks like. A lot of those cards are kind of meh anyway. We might end up going away from the action strategy too. I like Ember Tongue Scarn just because it's a solid 1-drop. But we might find something better for that too. Okay, so let's dive a little bit deeper into Wild. And we'll look at Wild for... Let's just look at Wild for their drops. Oh, thanks. Thank you. All right, there. Naryip is tiny again. Naryip is tiny. Okay, so I think now we're gonna just primarily look at Wild. So let's just cut Ruby. And again, we got to be mindful of equipment slots. I think for sure I'm going to want the Duelist Tabard here. I think we're still going to be doing double damage on the Riftwar Badger, but that could potentially be the troop creation one now. Because if we do the wild for troop creation, we're going to get 2 troops in our hand from 1 Rift Warp Badger. But a Rift Warp Badger now inspired by Jags would give it 6x damage, because this will have double damage and then it'll get triple damage, so that'll be 6x because it's multiplicative. So I kind of like that. That seems like it'd be fun. We could also play Cerberus. Oh jeez, I'm like building a repeat of my spoiler deck right now. Kind of wish maybe I spoiled that one earlier, so this wouldn't be as difficult. Why? Oh, because I just cut Ruby. That's right. Cerberus has trinket equipment that allows it to kind of do a gore feast. So Cerberus inspired by Jags would do 9x damage. So if you can imagine this Cerberus getting the Jags buff and getting the Skittering Scarn buff and getting the Feral Jaguar buff, it would be a 3/5 with speed, with Rage 1, with Crush, with deals 9x damage. So you deal 4 times 9, which my brain is working, 36. I think that would be 36 damage. Crush on attack. That's kind of good. With the ability to have a secondary attack. That's a little good. So we could definitely do Cerberus. Maybe make use of that collar he has. I don't know if it's a 4 of, even though it's a beast we can play 4. It ignores Naryip's shard grid because of the deck building requirements. So we could play 4 Cerberus. That could be our finisher. And the most expensive card in the deck. So maybe we do that. I kind of like the idea of getting 4x damage here. We can play Crush on our Feral Jaguars. We have access to Swift Strike on Skittering Scarns, which I barely ever use because there's always a lot better things to play. Oh, again, I'm building. I keep forgetting that I'm building a fully equipped deck. So I love the Cerberus strategy, but maybe that's pushing us out of the price range. Let's just splash into. Good morning, Briella. How are you doing? I might have to go see my kids in a second. Yeah, so for fully equipped, let me see what the price is on Cerberus. Oh, by the way, if you're watching and you don't own Cerberus, you might want to pick up a few, because I have a feeling that it's going to be a popular merc for the Beast-themed decks, and there's going to be a lot more Beast-themed champions now, especially with access to the Ranger class. So if there are a few beasts that you don't own that you'd like to own, you probably should pick some up. Cerberus is only saying it's around 85 plat right now. It's pretty good. I mean, it is an expensive card, but if you can combo it with the way that we're trying to combo it here, it's going to be valuable. So I would suggest maybe picking up maybe only 2 copies of him. He's non-unique. He's a beast, so. Especially if there are mercs or champions that allow you to reduce the cost of beasts, he will be extremely good. Okay, so we've done that. Now it's on to stuff in wild that are gonna make this deck go crazy. So Gas Troll's still an option, and Gas Troll's. We're gonna do this. We're gonna put Gas Troll in the reserves, and we're gonna put another Cerberus or 2 in the reserves too. This will be our expansion list for the fully equipped article. Oh, contrary. Good night. I forgot you live far away. So yes, Jag stacks with Cerberus, but it's not 6x. It's multiplicative, so it's 9x. The double damage is a multiplier. So 3x from Serb with Jags. Oh, and the reason why it's 9x is because we're running the equipment on Jags. It does triple damage. So yes, it would be 6x normally if you're not running Jags equipment. Uh-oh. Babies are trying to break in. Okay, so we've done that. We're looking good there. Wild growth is an option. We might even think about putting Dreamweaver Ancient in the sideboard as a solid. Is Dreamweaver is 5 now, right? I think Dreamweaver is 5. Yeah, maybe we wouldn't play Dreamweaver. It's kind of expensive for the deck that we're already playing. We could go with a pump strategy, maybe playing like a few Howling Braves. But they're... I don't know. We're still looking at gloves equipment. We're still looking at weapons equipment. There's a lot of strategies I'm thinking about that... ooh. I do like Wild Growth with Crush. That is pretty awesome. I really do like that. I think we're going to do Wild Growth with Crush here. I think I like the Crush strategy combined with a lot of strong troops. But again, we need to be mindful of our troop count. So right now we have 12, 14, 18, 20. So the next 5 cards in our deck basically need to be troops. Also, because we're going to play 2 Cerberus and we only have 22 shards in the deck, we need to add 1 shard. So all the next 5 cards that we throw into this deck will need to be troops, and probably they're going to be wild troops. We can go Howling Brave for the ramp, which could be pretty valuable. But let me see if we can find something that maybe has glove equipment. So let's see what we can find that has glove equipment here. And I think we're going to want it to be in wild. But we'll look at artifact too. Ooh, Ashwood Colossi. Okay, that's combo with Elf though. We're not going to play Elf. Oh, Ankylosaurus. But that's dinosaur combo and we're not playing other dinosaurs. The Handmaiden. Too expensive. I like the Crackling Sprout gloves. Because getting charge gain will help us use our charge power. The Explorer could help us get resources. Ooh, the Cheesesmith, okay. Too expensive as a card. A lot of these cards are a little too expensive. What are we going to put in? It needs to be a troop. We need to have 5 troops. There's no choice in that matter. Because we have already pushed the boundaries a little bit with... Oh, Vine Trap is interesting. Vine Trap's a good defensive troop. Could be super solid against strategies that include shell attacking troops, because that's going to be a little bit difficult for us to deal with until we can use our charge power. I do like the concept of playing the Ankylosaurus. If Axebot was not for cost, we could consider running that too. Another Warlock enters play under our control. It gets all socketed powers of this. Well, we're not playing other Warlocks, so that's not very great. Yeah, I'm not really seeing a great option here in terms of dropping in a socketed or an equipment socket card here. I mean, maybe Siegesaurus, but it's not the great fit. Ashwood Smiter is good, but it's probably too expensive, and we're not playing Elf. Shiitake Chef is great, but it's too expensive. We're not playing plants. A lot of these equipment pieces are combo pieces or for very expensive cards. Okay, so we looked at Wild. We're not impressed. Let's look at Ruby. Maybe we're missing something here. Okay, Ashwood Transmuter could be interesting. We do need to remember that whatever we play from Ruby is mostly going to be a 2-copy card. So we're already reducing the amount of cards we can play. Ruby Pyromancer is interesting. We could go that route. Lord Alex could be decent too. He does give speed. So anything that doesn't already have speed would get speed from Lord Alex. And he's only 1 threshold. We might go with Lord Alex. Of course, if we do the Kindling Scarn upgrade, we already have access to the Kindling Gauntlets, which is all we would need for the equipment. Well, there is also the Sting Shot, but probably wouldn't want to play Sting Shot since we're not playing any other Rangers. I think Lord Alex is the option we're looking at here. It's either Lord Alex or the Ruby Pyromancer. I'm kind of leaning towards Ruby Pyromancer a little bit because if you look at our deck, we are very heavy on the 3+ cards. And that's probably not good. We're going to want a few more 2 and 1 drops. So let's just do 2 Ruby Pyromancer. Do I have Ruby Toggleon? Good, I do. Ruby Pyro. So the Ruby Pyromancer equipment will actually get a lot of +1 buffs from all the other troops we play. We're not playing things like Royal Falconer. We're not playing things like Sly Huntress that could generate a ton of +1 triggers on the Ruby Pyromancer, especially if we were playing the glove equipment, which would turn this off. But because we're not playing those things, I don't think we need to focus on doing that for them. So now we're down to just needing... Oh, I gotta turn this off, reset filter, okay. So that's our equipment setup here so far. And now we're looking for a solid 1 or 2 drop in Wild. And we may actually remove a card from our deck to fit in 4 copies. Just because we need to be mindful of that early curve. And I think I know what I would remove. I think I know. Okay, because these last 3 copies will meet the 25 troop card requirement. Young Seer is kind of calling out to me. Brave, you think Brave? I kind of like Young Seer though. You think Brave is better than Young Seer, just for the threshold fix? I kind of like 3 copies of Young Seer. Because that way there, we can still attack with it. It can still be buffed, and we don't have to worry about exhausting it down. I do like the fact that Brave allows us to accelerate. I guess we could go Brave. All right, let's go Brave. Because I guess what is good about Brave is that if we play him on 1 and then we follow him with a 3-drop, we do not have to focus as heavily on our 2-drops because he will enable us to play 3-drops on turn 2. So let's get 4 of him in there. And we need to make a cut. So looking at all of the cards here, how many actions do we have? We have 10, exactly 10 actions right now. If we cut one, we'd only have 9. We have the ability to cut either 1 troop or 1 action right now. And if we cut a single troop, what would we cut? Right now we're looking at 6 PvP rares and 2 PvP legendaries. Maybe cutting a single Rift Warp Badger. I really like that card though. I really like that card. I'm gonna leave in the Rift Warp Badgers. I'm gonna leave in their double damage as well. Alright, we're gonna cut a combat training because I think having the crush is more important than having the attack damage pump. And we also have wild growth that will give us crush. And it is recursive. It maybe is not as recursive as combat training because it's going back into our deck and we do not have card draw. But I think the fact that we're running the crush equipment on it is going to make it more valuable than combat training. And it'll help us push damage early. So this is it. I think this is our deck. So let me resort by cost. And we're done. So screenshot this if you want to try it out for Naryip. This is our reserves. We're thinking about adding Gas Troll, Kindling Skarn, and more Cerberus into the deck later. Maybe when we have more funds or our card collection improves. But for fully equipped, I think this is pretty good. I think we're going to be looking at, I don't know what Jags are selling for nowadays, maybe 200 to 300 plat each, so maybe like 600. This might be like 50 plat each. So this is about 800 plat. Cerberuses they said they were at 90 plat, so this is like right here about 1,000 plat. And then the 4 Shards of Savagery is probably another 200 plat. So we're looking at about a 1,200 plat deck here, maybe 1,300 once you add all the other cards if you don't actually own anything. So it's a little bit more on the expensive side, but I think this is decent. So Mercs have different starting hands